Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 26 of What If Naruto Was a Badass Genius. Remember to get this one to 200 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto Was a Osusuke King that I post on this channel guys. Go ahead and check out that and enjoy. And also over on Anime King 2, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto was banished and got a supernatural ability, so go ahead and check out that and enjoy. And later on, I'm going to be posting a brand new episode of What If Naruto was a smart prodigy, so stay tuned for that and I hope you guys enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, and remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their
So, the last time we left off, Jiraiya and Naruto were on the mission as they enter the hidden rain. As Jiraiya asks Naruto what is wrong with him because he looked like he wasn't even here. As Naruto told Jiraiya that he got Mikoto, Sasuke's mother, pregnant. As Jiraiya burst out laughing, but when he saw that Naruto wasn't joking, he asked, seriously? As Naruto told him it is not time to think about that, he's right. And the rain, it stopped. As they were using the rain as a sensory ability, as the duo headed off as they went farther into the village. Arriving there, they came up to an empty square where they were attacked. As Jiraiya was surprised, it was Conan, and he saw Nagato. But what happened to him? Yes, he has a Rinnegan, but that is not how he looks. As they started a battle, as Naruto ended up slaughtering the absorption pain, but he was then blasted away by the robot pain, and you realize absorption pain came back to life. As Naruto did not understand, as the battle went on, as Jiraiya and Naruto went on the run, as they were being surrounded by all angles from all the other pain. As Tendo, all of them arrived, as Naruto took on 3 while Jiraiya took on the other 3. As Naruto went through hand sign and created a vortex in the sky. As Pain watched in shock as the vortex started to grow larger and larger, destroying everything he came in contact with. As he had to leap upwards. In all of that destruction, Naruto went around and slaughtered the rest of the Pain so they wouldn't come back alive as he destroyed their bodies, leaving only 3. As Jiraiya then used the toads after entering Sage mode, as he placed them under the Genjutsu and killed the 3 of them. Conan then arrived as he was trying to stop them and slow them down at least, but Nagato told her that it was okay. He lost, let them through, as it seemed like they just wanted to talk. As they were talking about peace, as Naruto quickly changed the subject and asked, what is a Gedo statue? But not even Pain knew enough about that, but Naruto said that he will talk to Kurama in his mind. As Naruto told Jiraiya to talk to Pain and try to get him to see the light again. As Naruto left them, some time passed as Naruto arrived back home as he was having dinner with his mother and Yujiro. After dinner was over, as Kushina was happy that he was back as she gave him a kiss on the forehead and went to bed. As Naruto brought Yujiro to his study as he told her that Mikoto was pregnant as she just stood there. So yeah guys, that was basically the last where we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check out for yourself. So what do you say we begin this new episode? After hearing what Naruto just told her, Yujiro opened her mouth, but no words came out as she shut back her mouth. As she remained silent for a long minute, she then looked at Naruto firmly. I shouldn't be surprised, but I am. And I don't really pity you, Naruto. Then what is going to happen with us? And when is your mother going to be told? Nothing changed between us, Naruto said. And my mother will be told tomorrow. I want no part of it, Yujiro said in a deadly serious tone. If I have any say in it, I will not defend Mikoto. I told you before you left Konoha with the training that she was looking at you with some indecent thoughts. And now this has happened. Obviously she was watching you, stalking you like a tiger, stalking their prey, just waiting for you to get ready. I will not defend the morality of her actions. But no, your mother is gonna be hurt, Naruto. Not by Mikoto betrayal, but by your willingness to go through this. To her, you're still her baby boy. This is why she tell you how much you must drink, and only on special occasions. This is going to shatter her, and I want no part of it. That is rather cold of you, Naruto said in an expressionless tone. Yujo shrugged. I just don't want to be responsible for hurting the woman who has been nothing but kind to me. Besides, this will affect my relationship with you. I won't be able to get rid of that woman now, she said that frowned. I said I could give you family. Who could have thought that she already beat me to the punch? The next day, afternoon, when Mikoto walked into the house with a smile, a very nervous smile, Naruto started to feel panicking, as he really didn't want to go through it. His mother was going to be shattered. Yujo had made it clear last night. As he hoped that didn't really happen, he was just hoping that his mother would say a few words, but not discuss over his actions. Yujo, Mikoto said that smile. As Yujo nodded and returned a smile, she then looked at Naruto. He looked pitiful, but she was not going to pity him. You came to deliver the news, Yujo said. I never thought I would see a Uchiha looking nervous. We are not all the same, Yujo. People tend to generalize things when it comes to members of the Uchiha clan. We're all different in our own ways. Perhaps our pride is what connects us, but each of us has something different about us. As Mikoto was surprised that the woman wasn't glaring at her, she thought Yujo would be glaring at her after Naruto informed her. Well, she hasn't been involved with Naruto the longest, so she doesn't have any reason to be angry. And it will not really change anything for their relationship. The only thing that will be changed is, if the woman was thinking of getting rid of her, there will be no way to get rid of her now. She had to live with her for the rest of their lives. Yujo will also not be the one to give Naruto his firstborn, but she would. I will go call Kushina, Yujo said. I'm sure she will be devastated. I won't be cynical in a way to say that you did this on purpose, just to stay in Naruto's life. As Naruto said nothing as Yujo walked away to get Kushina, as he then turned towards Mikoto but he did not say anything. It was becoming difficult to speak to her. It was a different matter now, knowing that she was carrying something in her belly and that was going to make him father. A father. He wasn't really looking forward to that kind of responsibility. I haven't told Sasuke yet, Mikoto spoke. I was thinking that it would be better if we spoke to him together. You know, he's going to overreact when he learns of it. At least when you're there when I tell him, I can defuse the situation so it doesn't become bloody. As Naruto raised his eyebrow, do you really think that he will go that far? I know he can overreact but resorting to make me bleed. Wouldn't that be taking it too far? But then again, he's your son. When it comes to emotional outbursts, you can never really measure him. I know him. He will react in a certain way. It is better if we speak to him together. As Naruto just went silent. As the both of them then heard footsteps. As he said nothing as he waited for the both of them to come down to the sitting room. Upon seeing Mikoto, Kushina smiled. Mikoto, she said. Well, this is something strange. I don't think all four of us had sat together in one place. Sasuke is the only one that is missing now. We really should have moments like these, she said, as she sat beside Naruto. As Mikoto smiled, it would be something special, and it would perhaps revive the old days you used to have dinner at the Uchiha compound. Those were good days, Kushina said. It's a pity that nothing doesn't last forever in this world. But life is interesting in that way. Things always change and never remain the same. Mikoto nodded. I came here because I have something important to tell you. As Kushina tilted her head to the side, as Mikoto's voice was strange, the emotions, she couldn't really tell what it was. As her face also looked blank, and Naruto was also blank as well. What is it? Kushina asked. I am carrying Naruto's child, Kushina, said Mikoto. As Kushina just stood still for a couple of seconds, she then burst out in laughter. But she then realized that no one was laughing with her. They were all dead serious. As it started to click in Kushina's head, she slept with Naruto, her teenage son, and because of it she was pregnant. The woman was impregnated by her teenage son, a child in the same age as Sasuke. A look of disgust flashed across her face as she stood up. She didn't say anything to anyone, she just started to leave. Kushina, wait, Mikoto said as she rushed over and grabbed Kushina by the left hand. Please say something, she pleaded in a begging tone. If not, at least allow me to explain myself. Please, Kushina. Kushina spun around and delivered a hard slap. As there was silence. As Mikoto just held her bruised face. What do you want to explain, Mikoto, she said, in a deadly quiet tone. Do you want to explain to me that you slept with my son? I'm not stupid enough to think that he was the one who started it. It had to be you. You are my friend and yet you did this with my son. My teenage son who's the same age as your youngest son. Isn't this a betrayal of my trust? I trust you to look after him, not sleep with him. With my son? Really? My teenage son? I cannot understand how you got that idea. What went through your head? Kushina then turned to leave once more, but this time around it was Naruto who spoke. Mother, please wait. Don't mother me, Naruto, Kushina shouted. Naruto was baffled by that kind of response. His mother never raised his tone with him. She has never shouted at him or even looked at him with that look of disappointment. Never in his life he has seen that look from his mother. He was beyond shock. His beloved mother was disgusted with him. She was mad at him. Don't think I don't fault you as well. It takes two to make a child, Naruto. You're not that weak-minded that she could force you into anything. You agree to it. What were you thinking, Naruto? She's Itachi's mother, Kushina shouted. Please, just leave me alone. I need time to calm down and think. As his mother just stomped away. As Naruto walked towards the exit. As he then vanished in the wind. Mikoto wanted to rush towards him, but he was already gone. And she was also stopped by Yujiro. Just go home, Mikoto. Naruto will be fine. He is probably just shocked that his mother shouted and was mad at him. Just give him time. A couple minutes later in the forest of death, Naruto! Sasuke shouted. As the lightning blade was on his right hand, his Mangekyo Sharingan spinning deadly. Naruto did not respond to the shout, as he was just staring up into the sky. He could not feel the sense of danger, but Sasuke was pissed, as he appeared beside Naruto and thrust his arm forward, as Naruto wasn't paying attention to anything, as he stabbed the jutsu from behind, just below Naruto's right shoulder, as it pierced right through him. Naruto's senses kick in, but the pain has yet to set in, as his right hand reached over and grabbed Sasuke by the face, so he could block the V of the Sharingan, as Naruto's left hand went behind him and placed his index finger on Sasuke's belly. As an extended wind blade, a small one, pierced through Sasuke, as Sasuke jumped back. Sasuke didn't lose the anger in his eyes as he landed. He didn't even mind the small drips of blood that was on his t-shirt. How could you? How could you, Naruto? With my mother? How would you feel if I did the same with yours? It was more than that to Sasuke. Naruto kept on taking from him, as he couldn't forget that his father even favored him when he was still younger. Even his own father said that if he could make Naruto Uchiha, he would have done so. Itachi also favored him more, and now he has taken his mother as well? As Naruto didn't say anything as crimson chakra leaked from his body, and his wound healed in seconds. He then looked towards Sasuke as his face showed no emotion, but Sasuke could see. It was just filled with so much he didn't want to let it loose. As Naruto then pulled 4 kunais, he coated them with chakra before hurtling them towards Sasuke at blinding speeds. Despite their speed, Sasuke could still see them with his Sharingan. As Sasuke could see that 2 were aimed at his shoulders, one straight at his throat, and the next one towards his forehead. Sasuke quickly vanished out of the way, as he appeared distance away, but Naruto appeared in front of him, the Rasengan, as he smashed the Rasengan into Sasuke's face, but Sasuke substituted with a log. Sasuke didn't appear behind him in a blur, ready to attack. He didn't have time to block it as Sasuke's right foot crashed into his back, as he plummeted down to the ground in a heap. Sasuke was upon Naruto a second later, as Sasuke slammed his foot into the side of Naruto to send him plummeting forward to the trees. Sasuke didn't stop there, he held his hands together and released a stream of flame from his mouth. The flames rushed towards Naruto in incredible speed. Naruto forced his body to twist to face the flames. He released powerful wind gusts that tear through the grounds as they smash into Sasuke's flames. The 2 jutsus collided, creating a huge boom as a tornado of fire and wind spread out. Sasuke then dashed towards him in incredible speed as Sasuke leaped up in the air as a ribcage of his Susanoo formed, and then both of the hands. Sasuke brought the right hand down towards Naruto's form as Naruto rolled away before it could hit him as the hand exploded the ground. Naruto slammed his hands together as he channeled wind around him as a small rotation of wind formed above Naruto. Wind tornado. The rotating winds then expanded as they blast towards Sasuke. Sasuke crossed Susanoo hands together as he waited for impact, as he could see multiple wind blades, so he could not let them touch him. The jutsu slammed into his Susanoo, knocking him straight up in the air, but he did not break through it. Sasuke abandoned his Susanoo when he saw that jutsu wasn't stopping, and he was losing sight of Naruto. Even in his anger, he knew not to lose sight of the blonde, unless he would regret it. As Sasuke landed on the ground without his Susanoo, as his eyes narrowed everywhere to try and find Naruto. His senses tensed when he felt something behind him. Naruto was dashing towards him. Sasuke saw the move coming and spin around anti-clockwise. As he twisted, he raised his right foot, intent to smash it straight into Naruto's face. Naruto did nothing as the feet collided into his face as Naruto poofed away. The real Naruto appeared in a gust of wind with his blade firmly on his right hand. He appeared just underneath Sasuke's raised foot. Before Sasuke could do anything, Naruto's blade touched his left knee. The moment it touched, Sasuke jumped away, but he wasn't fast enough, as he cried in pain as he landed. Naruto's managed to pierce right through his knee. It affected his mobility, as Sasuke was even more pissed. "Amaterasu," he said. The flames burst around Naruto's body, causing Naruto to cry out in pain. But Naruto pulsed out in anger as suddenly an explosion went off of him. An explosion that was great enough to blow off the flames and blow away everything around him. Even Sasuke was blasted away by the violent winds. They felt like a force of nature. At the Hokage's office, "What the hell is going on?" asked Navi. "Uchiha Sasuke and Naruto Uzumaki are fighting. It appears serious. One of them could die." "Take me there," said Navi. When she arrived, she noticed Anvu's already there, and she also saw Kushina and Mikoto, but the two of them were not side by side, as Navi could feel the killing intent in the air, as she could also see the worried look on both of the mother's face. Yuji appeared beside Navi and speak to her in a whisper. "Please don't stop them." "Why?" asked Navi. Yuji sighed. It was going to come out soon anyway. Naruto is a little lost. His mother is not happy with him, and Sasuke is angry that Naruto got his mother pregnant. "What?" shouted Navi as she couldn't believe what she heard, as everyone looked towards her. Back to the fight. When things cleared down, Naruto was on his knees, breathing heavily, as he was heavily burned by the Amaterasu flames. Suddenly, the Kaibi's chakra appeared in his body as it fully healed him, and then dispersed. A bruised Sasuke didn't attempt to get back. His knee was badly bleeding. He could not walk like this. Nevertheless, it was not necessary for victory. He still has his Susanoo. The moment those words went through his mind, he summoned the upper half, the bow and arrow ready. He was intent on killing Naruto with it. Without getting up, Naruto summoned a clone. It will help him create his jutsu far faster. As he held out his right hand and started to form his jutsu, as a screeching sound could be heard as the clone started to apply wind chakra and forming it. As Naruto hurled his jutsu towards Sasuke, as Sasuke armed his arrow with intense Amaterasu flame and thrust it forward. When the two powerful jutsus collided, there was explosions of wind and powerful black flames. Neither jutsu broke through the other, but they ended up cancelling each other. Sasuke looked for Naruto as he knew he couldn't hurl that jutsu so much time. He then grinned as he saw Naruto on his knees one more, breathing heavily. He took aim, but then he sensed another Naruto. He quickly spun around. "Amaterasu," he said. The flames caught the blonde, but he suddenly disappeared in a poof of smoke. Before Sasuke could turn back, his Sharingan eyes widened when he predicted a movement. But because of his mobility, he could not move fast enough to avoid the attack. Naruto was standing behind the Uchiha holding two swords, each of the tips pressed against Susanoo. His most fast and deadly attacks released from the blades, piercing through Susanoo, piercing through both of his shoulders. As blood started to pour out, the Susanoo started to disperse. The moment it was done, Naruto lunged at Sasuke as he picked up Sasuke from his neck, as he smashed Sasuke in the ground in a brutal fashion, as Sasuke winced as the pain jolted to his body. He wasn't given time as Sasuke was sent flying away by a kick from Naruto, as Naruto appeared above them and stomped into his stomach. He raised his foot again and stomped into Sasuke's chest. Sasuke cried when the foot stomped into his chest, as the blonde stomped on him like he was no longer human, he was something else, as Sasuke coughed out a mouthful of blood, as Naruto pressed his sword on Sasuke's throat. Tsunade didn't give the order, so neither of the Anvu felt compelled to do anything. As they were watching, and Tsunade was shocked. They should be celebrating pain defeat, not watching this. As the shock caused her not to do anything, she was just frozen at the sight. "Naruto!" Kushina cried out. "Please, Naruto, stop!" she cried. The sadness in her tone could be heard, as Naruto's blade was still pressing against Sasuke's throat. As he turned towards his mother, as he saw the sadness, the grief, the pain in her eyes. Did she blame herself for what happened? He wanted to rush over to her and told her that it was his fault, it was not hers. As he thrust his sword away to the side, as he slowly started to walk over to her. Kushina seen her son in this bloody state with his clothes torn. She wanted to cry, as she wanted to help him. How could that talk lead to this situation? Sasuke grit his teeth in anger to see that the one who caused him all that pain turned his back on him. Clouded by the anger and the emotions, Sasuke summoned all the chakra he could, as he formed a lightning blade on his right hand, as he forgot about the pain in his knees and jumped up. No one reacted in time when Sasuke launched at Naruto. Perhaps it was a shock, or because they thought it was over, or because they thought that the Uchiha would never attack a comrade from behind. As Mikoto saw it, she rushed over. "Sasuke, don't!" as she jumped behind Naruto. as she was pleading for Sasuke to stop, but it was too late with the momentum Sasuke was carrying, as his mother jumped right in his path. As he tried to stop himself, but his hand was already out. As Naruto was snapped out of his trance, he waved his hand as Mikoto was brushed away by a blast of wind. As Tsunade caught her, she was told that the woman was carrying child, so she couldn't allow her to fall like that. Blood then splattered on Kushina's face, as her eyes went wide when she noticed Sasuke's arm sticking out of Naruto's gut. Her body trembled as she noticed blood gushing from his mouth and his wound as well, as his eyes dimmed slightly. Sasuke removed his hand as his body started to tremble. The anger that drove him to act has now disappeared. A look of shock was on him. Naruto wasn't healing the crimson chakra that usually popped up. It wasn't coming. As Sasuke collapsed over as all the pain returned back to him. As Naruto collapsed over, as Kushina caught him but she fell over with him. Her eyes widened as the blood dripping from his mouth dropped from her face. She brought out her hands. They too were painted in blood. "I'm sorry, Ma," he said as he fell unconscious without finishing his statement. As Tsunade looked over at the dying Naruto, as she growled at Sasuke, she grabbed him. "Take him to Ibiki," she said. As Mikoto then spoke, "No, but his wounds. He was her son and she couldn't allow them to do anything bad to him. He's not going to die. Naruto might," she said. As Tsunade's arms started to glow green. Time skip. A week later, Tsunade looked down at the hospital bed as Naruto was on it for at least a week now. At least there was no one by his side today. She was tired of ordering the people close by him to go home and get some rest. She had to end up knocking out Kushina when the woman wouldn't leave her son's side to get some sleep. Well, the situation was bad when she had to close his wound. He even had a scar on his body. As she walked up to his side as her hand glowed green, as she placed on his forehead. After doing that, Naruto's eyes opened. He tried to get up. "I wouldn't move carelessly if I were you," Tsunade said, as she was speaking in a stern tone. "You still need to stay here for a day or two before we can release you. You did suffer a life-threatening wound. If I see another person would have died from that wound, I wouldn't be exaggerating," she said. This is the reason she had instructed the envoy to take Sasuke to Ibiki for some treatment, as she was aware why Sasuke was angry. But the fight was over and he stabbed him right through the back. If Mikoto hadn't jumped in the way, Sasuke's hand would have teared right through Naruto's chest. It was because of Mikoto that Sasuke tried to change its trajectory. He would have ended up killing Naruto right there and then. Naruto's eyes glanced at Tsunade for a minute before staring at the ceiling. "How long have I been out?" he asked. "About a week," she said. "I was even planning on giving you a award with Jiraiya, on job well done of taking care of the Akatsuki leader, but things happened." She shook her head. "Couldn't you find girls your age?" "Girls his age. They were just children who couldn't understand him or handle him. It was all about fun for them, and Naruto didn't have the time to babysit children. Besides that, the thing with Mikoto happened unexpectedly. Before he could even know, he started to enjoy it. He could not tell the difference between her and a young person, because he never been with someone younger. She was the one who opened his eyes in the first place. If it wasn't for her, he wouldn't be with Yujiro, because he would have remained ignorant and he would give the thought of relationship time. Mikoto made him think about them. "They are children," Naruto said. "Well, Inu has grown and her company isn't that bad. She's a rather attractive young woman. I wonder if her training with Sai is going well," he said, as he then shrugged. Tsunade shook her head. "Give it some thought, will you? There is nothing to think about. What happened has happened. It cannot be changed, and to be honest, I don't regret it in any way. What happened afterwards is a little regrettable though. But I don't regret what I did with Mikoto. It was truly a life-changing experience that opened my eyes." "You sound like a lovesick child," Tsunade said. As Naruto turned to face Tsunade, "Are you mad that you are not the one who get to open my eyes? It isn't too late to enjoy the party. Although this time around I think I would be fighting with Jiraiya." Tsunade was a little caught off guard by the statement, but she shook her head. "Don't even joke about something like that. I'm surprised you made jokes," she said. "I wasn't joking," Naruto said, with his emotionless mask. As Tsunade didn't say anything, as he smiled. "Of course I'm joking," he said. "I just need to find something amusing now, because the bitterness I feel inside is too much. That has never been a problem, but now it is just. And right now I don't know how to fix this. It seems to be beyond me." "Why was I out that long?" Naruto said. "It shouldn't have taken me that long to heal from that wound." "That wasn't the only wound you suffered," Tsunade said. "But the strange thing is, the Kyuubi didn't heal you. Why didn't he heal you? It said I wouldn't die from that wound, and the battle was over with Sasuke, so there was no need for that. Besides, I think it was a little angry that I let a Uchiha get behind me. Since that incident years ago, the Biju has not been fond of the Uchihas. Besides that, you should know that it was good for my health to heal naturally. Snather raised the eyebrow. So you do know what happens when the Kyuubi instantly heal you like that? Naruto nodded. Of course, I do. I am not a medic, but I am not stupid. I would not use a power and not know how it affects my body. It isn't when it heals me, but when I use it in its raw form, it burns through my body, like those flames of Sasuke, and then heal me completely. And that reduces my lifespan each time it happens. Well, there is always a price one has to pay for great power. When I use it, force it out of the seal, it hurts me, Naruto said. That's why I haven't been using it that often, but I will have to find a way to use it safely. Is there a need for that? Snade asked. The Akatsuki leader is gone. We can just pick off their members, one by one now, she said. We are living in the shinobi world, Hokage. Anything can happen. Yesterday it was the Akatsuki, the next day could be someone else. You will just become paranoid if you think like that. Yes, it is true, humans are corrupted to the core, but some of them are not that bad, and you can live happy life. I didn't say we can't. Maybe I'm just a little extreme in my ways. Snady shook her head. Get some rest. I need you operating at maximum capacity so we can go to Kiri and our alliance. And treaty, negotiation. If things go smoothly, I will even let you handle things without my presence needed and leave the judgment for you to what to do. Naruto raised the eyebrow on hearing that, as he didn't expect to hear something like that from her, not when she didn't trust him. Sure, their relationship was fine, but that didn't translate to trust. It was nothing more than an agreement between the two of them. I did not expect to find myself in that kind of role in Hidden Leaf. Well, I was planning on doing it, but not on an official capacity, he said. Snather shrugged. It will be a waste not to use your capabilities to get Konoha more allies. Besides, right now you have more than one reason to stay inside of Konoha. Since now it is certain that you won't be going anywhere, I can trust you with official work within the Hidden Leaf. Naruto did not find it a good reason for smiling. It was good for Snady, but not for him. He didn't like it one bit, especially since she was highlighting it. There was no doubt she was talking about that child formed inside of Mikoto. He was going to leave the leaf with his child behind. Yes, he would be forced to stay here. A little more trust, huh? Naruto said to himself. I had planned on making a move on the stone as well. Well, not the Tsuchikage. He's a stubborn, old man. I would end up insulting him if I have to face him. Same thing for the Raikage. On a good day, A is a reasonable person, but there are some matters he can be difficult on. In any case, I planned on meeting with Kurasuke soon. I was simply waiting for her to leave the Earth country so I could sneak up on her, Naruto said lightly. Out of all the other villages, the stone is the only one that can cause trouble with us, given our history. I thought if I could meet something with them, it would calm things. Just focus on resting for now. We will talk about those things once you're out. What is the official story, Naruto said. A mystery, Snady said with a smile. It caused me a headache, but it has only been confirmed as an incident and nothing less. We don't want to bring shame to the Uchiha clan. Mikoto isn't just a former wife of the Uchiha head, she has become the clan head. If something like this becomes known, it will not be good for her clan. Naruto simply nodded, as that was the best way. The child just has to be born with black hair and black eyes, and everything will be good. As Snady left the room, Naruto threw the sheets off of him. He wasn't going to stay here. There was still some boiling emotions that need to be calmed before things settle down. He was even worried about his mother, as she was hurt by his actions, and he needed to apologize for it. He has caused her much pain even though he swore to protect her. He shook his head as he got up, as his stiff muscles locked up a bit as he winced. He was certainly not used to stay at one place, he was always moving about. As Naruto sat at the edge of the bed, as Sasuke then walked in, as he had bandage covering him. As Sasuke was walking limp, as Naruto was amused. You should get a walking stick for that one. Or is it perhaps the mighty Uchiha doesn't want to be seen walking that stick like an old man? As Naruto got out of bed, he then pointed towards the door. Walk out, he said. I cannot trust you behind me, who knows? You might actually try to kill me again, and maybe this time I'll actually die. Your sarcasm isn't amusing, Sasuke said in a bitter tone. But you deserve it anyway, and I will not apologize for what I did. You crossed a line that should not be crossed. He will not forgive Naruto for what he did. He refused to blame her though. She was a lonely woman in Sasuke's eyes, and Naruto probably took advantage of her. It didn't matter what she said. Sasuke will never forgive him. He will die resenting him for the sin that he committed. Sasuke was sure that even his beloved brother would have been disgusted. I wasn't looking for an apology, Naruto said. As the two walked through the passage, Sasuke limping all the way. In some ways, I could understand your reaction. I had expected that. but if I was not caught off by my mother's reaction. But if I was in your case, Naruto said, I would have brutalized you in ways to make sure you never slept with anyone again. And if you have those thoughts, Sasuke, crush them, he said as he looked towards Sasuke. Sasuke snorted. Regardless of how it looked, I won our fight. It was your fault for turning your back on me. Every shinobi know not to show your back to the enemy. At that moment we were enemies. You were just naive, but I guess I took it too far. As Naruto didn't say anything, as they exited the hospital, he took in a deep breath. It was rather brutal of you to set me on flames with the Amaterasu. Why are you complaining? You heal quickly and you're not limping. This will affect me. I might not even fully heal, he said. I could have just cut it off, Naruto said. Sasuke was just exaggerating. With Tsunade's skills, he will be fine soon. It is probably that she wanted to heal naturally. As Sasuke's Sharingan came to life as it spun mercilessly, as no one was watching him, he could kill the blonde right here. As Naruto narrowed his eyes at Sasuke, as Sasuke knew that Naruto was at a disadvantage now. Just know, Sasuke, it will cost me a lot, but I will heal from your burns. But if I burn you in your sleep, you won't heal, Naruto said. Sasuke stopped walking as he stared at Naruto. Of course, I'm just kidding, Sasuke. Then, what do you want from me? What you did with my mother will bring shame to my clan, and I will never forgive you for it. I will resent you for it even if I die. I will resent you in the afterlife. Even though I won't forgive you, I still want you to get on your knees and apologize in front of our mothers. I will apologize, but I will not bow before you, Sasuke. You have not become Lord of Naruto Uzumaki. I would admit things went out of hand, but if you're looking for me to bow down to you, you can go and screw yourself, Naruto said. As Naruto was going to tell Sasuke that his mother was the one who actually took advantage of him. She was the one that undressed herself and showed him everything. He wasn't going to be like that. He was going to accept responsibility. Sasuke sighed. I figured he would say something like that, but I did not expect that kind of language. Has being stabbed in the back affect your attitude? If I had known, I would have stabbed you a long time ago, seeing that you always treated me like crap. When we were younger, you deserved to be treated like crap because you had a bothersome attitude. Maybe your growth made me a little envious of you. Unlike you, I have no bloodline, but I must depend on the Kyuubi's power when things get tough. But for now, I have a lot on my mind. I must change my priorities and thinkings because I'm going to enter a stage in my life that I didn't dream of entering. I guess for the first time in many years, I'm a confused person and very unfocused right now. Why did you come to see me, Sasuke? Naruto asks. Considering everything, things should be different. They are different. You're not talking to me like a child, and you're not the one to hold grudges. So I don't think that we're going to have a problem. On another matter, my mother has made it clear to me that you're going to be a part of our life. So being repulsed by your very face isn't going to do it anymore. However, that doesn't mean I will forgive you. Naruto simply smiled. How interesting life was. He never thought that things would actually come to this point. Things have really changed. It was no longer his mother to just protect now. He had to think about Yujiu, Mikoto, and her child. Things were like that. A teenage boy was going to be a father with a woman that was old as his mother. How twisted was that? How twisted was he? Naruto found it amusing that he didn't have a problem with sleeping with Mikoto. She had said if he felt good, there was nothing wrong with it. He agreed with her, but now that she had something growing inside of her, he's starting to see the wrong side of things. You've made your point clear, Naruto said. Can I go home now? Home is the Senju compound. They moved out of your house 2 days ago. Before you go, Sasuke, have our mother spoke? Naruto asked. He was worried about it. He didn't know what would have happened if they spoke. His mother was still hurt and angry, and Mikoto would be avoiding her to give her some space. But in his return, they will be forced to confront each other. Our mother? Sasuke asks. Don't you mean your girlfriend and your mother? Said Sasuke in a sarcastic tone. Naruto blinked at that response. He certainly didn't expect that, seeing that he was blaming him for this mess, not Mikoto. I thought we were playing Blame Naruto, Naruto asked. It is your fault, Sasuke shouted. He then calmed himself. It just ticked me off when you said that so casually. You know you don't treat her as my mother but your girlfriend, so trying to play that card just ticked me off. Really, Sasuke? Naruto said. You want me to call your mother my girlfriend? You want me to come to your house and ask, Yo Sasuke, where's my girlfriend? Lightning started to crack on the palm of Sasuke's hand as he was glaring murderously at Naruto. I swear, on my brother's name, if you say that again, I'll murder you. Enjoy your day, Sasuke, he said as he turned away from the Uchiha. He then stopped walking. You really have my sincere apologies, he said. In the end, Naruto found himself going towards the Uchiha compound, as he was glad that Sasuke was not here. But things have really changed between them, hence he could still talk to the Uchiha, but his language and his tone will have to change. Hence, Sasuke wouldn't take crap from him. He sighed. This was one thing he got himself into. But he wasn't regretting anything though. Naruto, Mikoto said, a sad smile on her face. She was standing just away from the entrance, hearing someone entering. She had known it wasn't Sasuke, so she came to check. It could have been someone from the clan, who knew. As Naruto gave her a small smile, this was partly his fault as well, as she was going through a lot right now. There was a lot that she needed to figure out. A lot that she had to deal with, and it was all because of their actions. I didn't think I would be seeing you so soon, she said. She assumed that he just left the hospital, so now they would. Said that she would wake him up today. Even so, she thought he would be ignoring her, staying by his mother's side, sorting out their issues. She hasn't even spoken to Kushina since the incident. She has not even tried anything. The past days have just been handling clan matters, and she also took some time to visit him. She had been careful so not to bump into Kushina along the way. With how things ended, she didn't know how the woman would react in her presence. I would have gone home, but after meeting Sasuke, I realized you would have been here all by yourself. I would always be with my mother, but Yuji was there to keep her company. And I think Kakashi is at the Senju now. You're all alone, there's no one you can talk to. Sasuke isn't the kind of person you can speak with about these issues. I thought it would be cruel of me if I just let you be. We are in this together after all. My mother isn't just mad at me, she's mad at both of us. You did not force me to do anything. I went with it because I wanted to. Mikoto really didn't have anyone to talk to, and that was a burden on her, as she was touched at Naruto to think of her that way. She hadn't thought that he would put her in such a place. As she was touched, but she was going to cry. She wasn't going to cry in front of Naruto. I am still clueless to some things, but this time the hospital has given me time to think. I cannot understand what is going on inside your head, or how you feel, but that is the reason I have come here. I want to know how can I be of assistance, Mikoto. For a second, Mikoto was shocked. She thought that this was just an illusion. Something must be wrong with him. There was no way he could say those words to her in his right mind. But this wasn't an illusion, it was a hard reality. And it wasn't bad. In fact, it brought her joy, as she knew that he would not abandon her now. He was going to be by her side, and that made her happy. Right now, I just want you to listen. Can you do that? She asked. As Naruto nodded. That was the second time you saved my life, and once again, it was from my son. Sasuke's situation is different, but the picture is the same. There were 2 incidents where my son could have killed me, and each time, I was saved by you. I hope this one is a girl, and don't do anything like her siblings, because I can't survive that emotionally, she said. If it becomes a girl, we will just have to raise her differently, to guard against something like that. We must also ensure that she loves her mother. As Mikoto smiled at him, he was being so considerate. But right now, Naruto had to make sure that a child loved her mother, because their relationship right now was dead. His mother would never allow it to continue, but he will still be there for the little girl or the boy, whichever, but him and Mikoto are no longer an item. Moments later, at the Senju compound, Naruto was walking into the compound, as he felt it different here. Besides that, they had moved without him. He was just joined them. The situation where they had moved, it was very unpleasant. It didn't make him smile. He would have been happy if things had gone through differently, but he was the one who made a mess of things. His mother was displeased with him. Yuji was probably glaring at Mikoto. Relationships that had been strong probably shook up right now. He had to mend them, but they will have to sit down and talk things out. But this will scar them for the rest of your life. And also the little one will be with them for the rest of their life as well. He then saw her right here, as he felt something hold him. Don't space out like that. You will get your mother worried, Kushina said in a soft tone. It made her worse seeing him standing like a statue. It wasn't good for him, since he just got out of the hospital racking his brain like this. He had to think things slowly, as Kushina was happy that he was back home where he belonged, not the crappy hospital. Even though that Snazzy told her that there was nowhere he'll be fine, she just kept him asleep so that she could do her tests. And the fact that he needed to rest fully, Kushina was still worried, as she couldn't afford to lose him, not now. Children were supposed to bury their parents, not the other way around. As Naruto just stood there, as he wasn't expecting his mother to hug him. After all of this, he had made her cry, he had made her feel pain. Why? He said. Kushina patted Naruto on his back gently. Don't worry, Naruto, everything will be alright. This was strange. Wasn't he the one supposed to be telling her that everything would be alright? Wasn't he supposed to be apologizing for hurting her with his actions? You have held it all in for a long time, Naruto. It's okay, I'm your mother, she said. As Yuji then walked in. If someone walked in right now, they will probably get the wrong picture, she said. You do realize, sometimes your relationship with each other is kind of weird. As Kushina had told her about the old days. when the both of them would just stay in bed and cuddle with each other. But Yujiro knew it wasn't anything like that. For Naruto, he just loved his mother. It was a different love from any kind of other love. She saw the look on Naruto's face when she said that, as he was repulsed by that idea. You know, for someone who was repulsed by that idea, it certainly didn't have a problem with your activities with Mikoto, seeing that she's almost the same age as your mother and could be your mother, she said. As Kushina could hear the bitterness in the woman's tone. As she separated from Naruto, she turned to look at Yujiro. They will have to sit down and talk things out like a family, and they will have to talk to the Uchihas as well, on how things are going to be moving forward. There is no need for that tone, Yujiro, but to be honest, I am disappointed in you, Naruto. You're still a teenage boy and yet you have done this. I know this is a shinobi world and age doesn't matter, but before my eyes you're still a child. And you should have been the same for Mikoto. She then shook her head, as she took Naruto's left hand and brought him towards the sitting room, with Yujiro falling from behind. Please, help me understand the situation. What did you see in her, she asked, as Naruto went quiet for a long minute, until he then spoke. I guess it when she called me a hero for saving her life and the Uchihas. Those words she uttered meant more to me than anything, aside from what you have said to me, he said. I think a part of me always want to hear those kind of words. It isn't just father who was a hero of the Hidden Leaf, we were all heroes. On that fateful night we all did our part, you restrained the Kyuubi, and it was sealed inside of me to keep restrained. And from the day to come I stopped looking at villagers as people. And when Mikoto said those words to me, it changed my look on her. Even though it wasn't intended, I was truly happy. I learned to care for her because she recognized my existence. I don't know about her side, but my close relationship started there. Yujiro wanted to say something, but she kept her mouth shut. What she was about to say would have painted a bad picture of Mikoto. As Kushina, she had nothing to say about the issue really. They couldn't undo what was done, and she could not erase it from her mind. It had happened, and she had to accept it. Well, she had a lot of time to think about the issue. I'm still not happy, but we still have a future to look forward to. We cannot hold resentment over what have happened. That will just cause problem and mental strain, she said. I'm truly sorry for causing you pain, mother, Naruto said. I know you are, she said. I'm still surprised that Sasuke would try to kill you though. From her tone, Naruto could tell that his mother was not happy with the Uchiha. And if it wasn't for his swift actions, probably they would have to be burying Mikoto. As Yujiro then spoke, if it was him, he would have not have tried, he would have killed Sasuke in brutal fashion. Kushina blinked as she stared at Naruto. Should she really be surprised that he's not denying it? Well, it would just be like him to do something like that, so it wouldn't be a surprise. It doesn't make what Sasuke did right though, but in his eyes, you did violate his mother, Kushina said. Naruto had nothing against that as he knew he would have done what Yujiro said. But if Sasuke had accidentally killed his mother, it would have been his fault, and then Sasuke would have probably lost his mind, and Sasuke would have wanted revenge to go after his own mother, and then Naruto would have to become something that this world has never seen before. Something more twisted and darker than the Kyuubi. But guys, be ending this episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications to stay posted. Remember, share with all your friends on your social media platform. But for now, I'm out. See you guys soon. Peace.